Yes, I know it looks completely ridiculous, but trying to hold the video camera while I'm writing on the board, on the whiteboard, doesn't work very well at all. I glue gunned a webcam to my one of my old hats that I've had forever. I look dumb in hats, so I don't usually wear them, but hopefully that'll help me video. Anyway, this is a video that I'm making because there's been some demand for it. I've had 2 people or 3 people asking me specifically for more Boolean Algebra throughout the past little while, so I'm going to do a Boolean Algebra video. Hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody, I'm going to do a bit of expanding on the concept of and, or, and not before we carry on with the lessons, because if you don't understand those 3 concepts, you're in trouble. Okay, so let's first start with and. Now, I gave you guys a brief truth table in the last one of my lessons, and I tried to basically explain how it works, but basically you can think of it as this. When you put something through the AND operator, the output is equal to 1 if all values in are 1. The output is 0 else. If and only if, by the way. So the only way you're going to get a 1 coming out of an AND operator is if all the values going into it are 1. So we're going to expand on the whole 2 variable idea and use 3 variables in this case. So if we have A and B and C, and we know that A equals 1, B equals 1, and C equals 0, well, 1 and 0. If we want to just go 2 at a time here, we can say that, okay, well, those 2 are both 1, so that's 1, then 1 and 0, and then those 2 equal 0 from what we remember from our last lesson. But all you have to do is look at this and see that we have a 0 in the AND, like the ANDed together terms, so we know that this is 0. So whenever there's a 0 in an ANDed term, you know that it's 0, the answer. The only way it can ever be 1 is if everything is 1. So that's AND for you. That's basically the best definition I can give you for AND up there. Okay. Or. Now, for or, the output will equal 1 if 1 or more inputs equal 1. The output for the OR operator is 0 if and only if all inputs equal 0. So let's do an example of that. A times B times X times Y. What am I doing? Or. So X, A or B or X or Y. Let's say that A equals 0, B equals 0, X equals 1, Y equals 1. So immediately, if we sub everything in here, 1, we can see that we all, like, when you look at a huge OR thing, first of all, you could just OR 2 of them, I think. Wait, let me think about that for a moment here. Well, whenever you look at a bunch of ORed together terms, the moment there's a 1 in one of the terms, you know the whole thing goes to 1. So all we need is for one of these to be 1. But even if we change Y to 0 here, it's still going to be 1 because we still have that there. The only way this can equal 0 is if they're all 0. Okay, so from our previous talk about AND and OR, we remember that anytime there's a term inside an AND that is 0, the whole thing is 0, and every time there's a 1 inside an OR, it's 1. So from that we can actually create a few properties here. So from that we can go A and 0. Well, anytime there's a 0 inside of an ANDed term, we know that it's just equal to 0. A and 1. Well, if we think about it, when A is equal to 1, we get 1 and 1, which is simply equal to 1. And when A is equal to 0, we get 0 and 1, which we know is equal to 0. So this operates exactly the same as just A. So A and 1 is equal to A. So those are two properties. They're very basic, but you want to keep them in mind. Now, OR. A or 0. Well, let's think about this. Anytime there's a 1 inside of an ORed term, we get 1. And anytime there's no 1, like if there's no 1, it's equal to 0. So, really, this only depends on A, because if A is equal to 1, we get 1 or 0. Well, that's just equal to 1 because we have a 1 here. The 0 doesn't affect it. If we have a 0 or a 0, well, we see that there's no 1 inside there, so we know that that equals 0. So this up here simplifies to A. And then A or 1, and we're going to do some examples using these properties. A or 1. Well, let's think about this. Anytime there's a 1 inside of an OR, it's automatically 1. So it really doesn't matter what A is equal to here, because we know there will always be at least a 1 inside of this ORed together term. So that's just equal to 1. So this mic right here, and I'm busy hearing an echo. That's why I'm talking weird. Okay. See this mic right here? I just found out that it was too noisy. So next time I'm probably going to try a different setup for sound. This is the only decent mic I have on the camera. So I don't know. I'll try and figure out a better way of doing this. But I've already reached sort of close to my limit for doing a video. I can't really move on to more properties, but I will definitely post another video soon. I hope you found that helpful or interesting. I'll see you guys later.